Hey everybody, it's Father Edward Looney here, and I am getting ready for the season of Advent. It actually is kind of a weird Advent year because Advent doesn't begin with our Advent calendars on December 1st, but it begins on December 3rd. A lot of times Advent will begin in late November, and this year we have a very short fourth week of Advent. In fact, it's only a few hours because the fourth Sunday of Advent is December 24th, and then at 4 o'clock it becomes Christmas Eve. And so very short, abbreviated Advent season this year. It makes it a little difficult if you want to do an Advent devotional, because a lot of Advent devotionals, they're written for all of the days of Advent. And so then you're either going to miss some reflections. I don't know what devotionals you use. In the past, one year I used Donna Cooper O'Boyle's Advent with Our Lady of Fatima. A good friend of mine, Father Joel Sember, a priest in Green Bay who serves in Antigo. He has an Advent series that he has written. This year, for my Advent devotional reading, I am going to make my way through Cardinal Zen's Advent Reflections. I was drawn to Cardinal Zen, and when I saw that this book was coming out, I thought, this is the Advent book I want to read. Partly because Cardinal Zen is this Chinese cardinal. A lot of people really greatly admire him, respect him. He's lived in a country where Christians are persecuted. He has stood up to totalitarian governments and such. So that's why I was interested in reading Cardinal Zen and why I want to make my way through his Advent Reflections. Now, I bought the book and I have it here, and I thought to myself, well, when am I supposed to start Cardinal Zen's Advent Reflections? Might seem like an odd question, and a little bit it is. Because a lot of times when it comes to an Advent reflection, you'd have, okay, first Sunday of Advent, that would be the first reflection. Monday of the first week of Advent, Tuesday of the first week of Advent. I've written a Lenten book. That's how I wrote my Lenten book. So that's what you kind of would have expected with Cardinal Zen's book, but that's not what we have. So we have different parts. So part one is a time of preparation. So it starts with number 1. And if you look then, if you go, there's part 2, that's Christmas. And there's 32 meditations or 32 reflections in all. So you're like, okay, well, if Advent starts this year on December 3rd, well, when would I begin reading this book? Should I begin on November 24th? So that then I will have done all the 32 reflections of Cardinal Zen to prepare for Christmas. But if you look at the Advent meditation book, you'll be like, well, I don't know, because number 21 is the Holy Family. Number 22 is the Epiphany. Number 23 is the Baptism of the Lord. So these are things that come later in early January, typically as the church celebrates that liturgical theme. So do I want to read those things as part of my Advent preparation? So it offered this conundrum to me. When do I start Cardinal Zen's Advent Reflections, available from Sophia Institute Press? So then I thought, well, maybe you start December 1st. We have our chocolate calendars, we have our coffee calendars, maybe you have a beer or a wine calendar. So maybe you start December 1st. Well, okay. Again, remember, there's 32 reflections, so well, number 25, so beginning on the 1st, that would take you through December 25th. How many still do not know of Jesus Christ? That would be the reflection you'd read on Christmas Day. So you would have then read the Holy Family, Epiphany, Baptism of the Lord, Presentation of the Lord. You would have read Cardinal Zen's Reflections. Number 25, how many still not know of Jesus Christ? Kind of an appropriate topic to think about Christmas and him coming and being born, and maybe that'd be a nice reflection for Christmas Day. It would mean then you would have 26, 27, 28. You would have 32, the 32nd one being on January 1st. So maybe that would be the best time to read this. And interestingly, number 32 is on the Rosary. And 31 is on the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So on the 31st day of December, if you were to read this book, Cardinal Zen's Advent Reflections, well, then you would be thinking about death, really, the death of Mary, her triumphal entry into heaven. And then you would conclude the 32nd, January 1st, Feast of Mary, Mother of God, with the Rosary. And maybe if you're not a regular Rosary prayer, maybe, I haven't read the reflection of Cardinal Zen, but maybe that reflection he has, the 32nd one, sets your year off on a right note. I want to pray the Rosary 365 days. Maybe you miss a Rosary here and there. Maybe you miss a Rosary for a week at a time. But maybe reading that reflection, the 32nd one on the first day of January 2024, or whatever year you might be reading Cardinal Zen's book, maybe that would be appropriate. So that's an option, I thought. So then I thought, well, you know, if you look at the reflections again, so you get to part 2, Christmas. Christ the Savior is born, a child is born. So if you want to read maybe these Christmas ones right around Christmas, well, I thought, well, maybe you would read starting on December 5th. That gives you 20 days. True and False Joy, a time for joy. That's the section 18, 19, 20. So you'd be reading that on the 23rd, 24th, 25th. I just want to say that I'm a little confused by Cardinal Zen's Advent reflections. I'm very much looking forward to praying them and reading them. I think reading his Holy Family reflection or his Epiphany or Baptism of the Lord or Presentation of the Lord, I know personally that this is going to be beneficial to my preaching at Sunday Mass. That as I read Cardinal Zen, a man who has prayed in communist China, that it's going to help my soul. It's going to help my words. Maybe he's going to pick my brain about something. I'll be like, this is what I want to preach on because of Cardinal Zen's reflections. So I'm trying to understand when I should begin. If you're reading Cardinal Zen's Advent reflections, maybe leave a comment. I'd be curious, one, were you confused? When should I start? How do I read this book during Advent? That's one question I'd ask. I'd want to know what your plan is. How do you plan on reading this book? So feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you're doing, and maybe it will inform me. I'm really thinking maybe the whole December 1st to January 1st, the 32 reflections, I think that's the way to go. That's my thought. Curious about you. I'm reading Cardinal Zen's Advent reflections probably beginning December 1st, but I'm reading it this Advent 2023. Maybe you can still acquire a copy from wherever you buy Catholic books and join me in this journey as well. Thanks so much. God bless you.